Hello, today I want to do a little walkthrough of setting up music for a combat state flow. So suppose you're walking around the world and you run into an enemy, how does the music progress from the peaceful exploration into full-on combat? So that's what we're going to take a look at today. So we're going to start with, in the music hierarchy, we're just going to make a new switch container, and I'm going to call it combat flow. And then I'm going to add 4 different music playlists. We're going to do exploration. We're going to do enemy proximity. We're going to do anticipation. And we're going to do combat. Now, depending on the type of game that you're doing or that you may be working on, you may have more or less than this many music tracks and playlists to properly augment the experience of your game. This is just kind of a basic setup that you may see in a good number of RPGs these days. So let me just walk through this super fast. First of all, you'll have exploration music. This is what plays when you're not close to enemies at all. It's nice and peaceful. When you do get close to an enemy, you'll have enemy proximity music play. This can serve 2 purposes. One is kind of a warning to the player. Hey, by the way, there's somebody nearby. It doesn't want to sound peaceful like exploration. We're definitely sensing some danger or intensity here. The other purpose is that suppose the player doesn't need a warning, they're actually doing some stealth gameplay and they're getting close to the enemy, maybe doing a stealth takedown, something like that. Enemy proximity music helps to underscore that moment as well. And you don't want exploration, peaceful stuff to be playing when you're going around doing that kind of work. So that's enemy proximity music. When the enemy actually starts to notice you, we'll have some anticipation music, or that's what I've called it anyways. You can call it whatever you want. But this is when the enemy starts to notice you, they become suspicious. They haven't fully become aware. In many games, you'll see a question mark or something like that above the enemy's head. And maybe even it'll fill up with a color or something like that to show you, hey, they're about to notice you. They haven't noticed you yet, but watch out. So we're going to play some music to highlight that moment. And then when they fully become aware of you, then we'll actually start combat music. This is how quite a few games work, that combat music or combat state is driven by enemy awareness. When they're aware of you, combat is active. When they're not, it's exploration. So let's walk through this of how to set up the tech for this. I'm going to go over to game syncs, and I'm going to make a game parameter or an RTPC, and I'm going to call this enemy proximity or enemy distance. And this will be in meters. And I'll say if you're 100 meters away or farther, I don't care. You're too far away. So we'll just set it to 100 meters. Then next I'll come over to switches. I'll make a new switch group. I will also call it enemy proximity. And I'm going to make 2 switches for this. I'll call the first one close, and I'll call the second one far. And you can have as many of these as you want. You can have close, medium, far, very far, extremely far. I'm just going to have 2. Then I'm going to check the use parameter checkbox, and I'm going to select the parameter. It's the one that we just made, enemy proximity. And I'm going to set this to close. And then I tend to like setting the distance of kind of the threshold for being close at about 20 meters. I used to do it at 30 on a game I was working on, and I found that that was too far, that players would look around and say, wait a minute, I hear the music has changed. Where's the enemy? But I don't see one. It was too far away. And so 20 felt better. And I'm sure that if I spent more time, I could dial it in better. But that's what worked for me at the time. So I've got an RTPC that's driving a switch for enemy proximity. So I'm going to come back over here to the audio tab, and I'm going to set that up. So in the music switch editor, I'm going to grab switch group enemy proximity, and I'm going to say, look, if you're close, I want to play the enemy proximity music. I'll drag that over here. And then if you're not close, play the exploration music. Then for anticipation and combat, I'm going to come back to game syncs, and I'll add a state group called enemy awareness. And I'll add 3 states for this. Unaware, suspicious, and aware. So I'm going to go back over here, and we'll put these in here. I'm going to add new state group enemy awareness. And here I want to make sure that the enemy awareness is farther left. And the reason for that is that whatever on the left takes priority over what's on the right. So no matter what is set here, it will listen to this first. And the reason for that is even if I'm far away from an enemy, but they are aware of me, I still want to hear combat music. It's hard to anticipate the exact gameplay scenario where this would be. Maybe it's, I don't know, a dragon in the sky and it can see you from from 100 meters away or something like that. But if they are suspicious, I want to create a path for that. I'll put anticipation music there. And then if they are fully aware, I'll make a path for that, and I will put combat music here. And that should work pretty well. I'm going to go and add the music to these playlists. I'll be right back. Okay, I've gone and added music to all of these playlists, and we should be ready to test this now. So let me bring up a Soundcaster session, and I will get it started. We're going to start at enemy proximity is fully far away, and the enemy is unaware. Let's see how this goes. And there you have it. Looks like it works pretty well. We started with exploration music, then we used an RTPC to drive a switch for enemy proximity. Then we used states for combat awareness to do a suspicious or anticipation music, and then a fully aware combat music. So I hope that this has been interesting or helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.